Hey there internets, I'm Michael and this is the new and improved, better sounding Toucan Play That Game, bringing you another instalment of Wait a minute. It was a daytime event yesterday, not actually a game night, but otherwise it's the same show, so I guess I can let you continue. So, back over to you, Michael. In review. And yesterday, the games I played in order were Machi Koro, followed by Citadels, and then Blood Rage, and finally Kemet Seti. So before I talk about those games, as usual, just going to do my caveats for this series of videos. And that is, of course, that these are just my first impressions playing these games at game night. So a lot of these games, I haven't done enough playthroughs to do a full review, whereby I've tried lots of different player numbers, etc. But this will give you an idea of whether or not to look into the game some more. So with that out of the way, before I do talk about the games, I just wanted to talk a bit about the other games that were being played there that I didn't play, just so that you're getting an idea of what else is being played across the country other than what I'm playing. So for starters, there was a big, huge Warhammer 40k game going on. Well, I say big and huge. There were two armies, but they were taking up a huge amount of room and they played all day. And it looked pretty epic. What else was there? There was Steampunk Rally, which looked really interesting, really fun. Unfortunately, I had to choose between that and Blood Rage, but there you go. What else was there? Oh, I remember. Port Royale. So I don't know a lot about that, so I can't really comment on that. Seemed like it could be interesting. There was a lot of kind of going bust and stuff, so I guess it's a push your luck game. So, with that all out the way, let's start talking about the games. So the first game yesterday was Machi Koro. Now, I do like this game. It was a game with 3 people playing, and everyone had played before. One person wasn't too familiar with the rules, but you know, it's that light, fun game. Everyone had a good time. If you do want to know more about my thoughts on the game and whether or not Toucan play that game, please do check out my video series on Machi Koro, and I'll include links in the description for that. However, what I will say is it was great yesterday playing, and I was playing with my wife and a friend of ours, and my wife had done a min-maxing strategy that I have never seen work so well before. So she pretty much only bought wheat fields, which are the #1 thing, and I can't remember what it is, but the 11-12 one that keys off of having wheat fields, basically. And that's pretty much all she bought. And she was doing reasonably well with ones coming up reasonably often. But what then happened is just after she had bought when you roll doubles, you get another turn, came back round to her, she rolled double 6, and she had a 72 coin payout. And everyone was there going, ugh. And of course, because that was a double, she then got to go again. And it happened again. I couldn't believe it. Never seen the like of it before. And then was Citadels. Now, Citadels, for those of you who don't know it, is pretty much a role selection game. We were playing with 3 people, so that did mean a few variant rules. We each had 2 people we were selecting and taking 2 turns each round. This wasn't the first time I played Citadels. The first time I played, there was like the full number, I think it's 8 of us playing. And it all felt a bit pressured, a bit hectic. It was at the end of a session at a games cafe, so we were all short on time. And I didn't enjoy the first time playing it, but ever since I had done that first time playing, and this was probably several years ago now, I'd wanted to play it again, but I just never got round to it. So when we needed a quick, short game, this came up as an option. It was like, well, it is one I've wanted to try again. So I did so, and unfortunately, I still wasn't a great fan of the game. Now, I did win, so you'd expect me to like it. I mean, everyone likes winning. But, I don't know, I mean, mechanically it seems like a sound game. I can see why people enjoy the game. For those of you who don't know how to play, as I've said, it's a role selection game. So at the start of each round, you draft your roles. So it will go to the first player, and one of the roles will give you first player for future round. And they then get to pick from the cards what their role will be. Now, not all the roles will be in there. There's one left out. And then that will pass around the table with each person selecting a role. So you have a small amount of idea of what other people's roles are. And the way it will work is that some of the roles will kill other people, will give you extra money, will allow you to buy extra things, steal from people, things like that. And they all trigger in a specific order each round. So once you've gone round drafting your role, then you go through each of those characters' turns that obviously are in play, and the person controlling them goes, I am that person, I do their action, and then each turn you can do one of two actions, which is either take coins or take cards. Nice and simple. And then build a card. Again, nice and simple, you just pay the cost of the card. So it's all very simple, it does work well, but I don't know, I really can't put my finger on what it is that makes me not especially enjoy this game. And it's a shame. It seems like a good game, I know it's a popular game, but it's just not one I'll choose to play. And so after that, we then played Blood Rage. Now, when I walked into this hall and saw Blood Rage there, I was like, because I've been wanting to play this for so long. Well, I say so long, I mean, when the Kickstarter was going, I was like, oh, it looks interesting, but I really don't like buying games unless I've been able to play them and try them first. I won't do it. I'll wait till it comes out, and then I'll get to try it at the local games cafe. And then unfortunately, the number of copies that reached the UK in the first print run was really small, and so nowhere had it available to play, and I didn't know anyone who had it. So it's like, oh, I haven't been able to play it. And luckily this guy had one of the Kickstarters, so it was great. I was super excited to get to play it. So let's talk about what Blood Rage is a bit. For those of you who don't know, it's a very thematic game set around Ragnarok, which is the Norse mythology end of the world. And the whole idea is that you are these Viking warriors seeking glory in battle. This is a game where there is a lot going on. It took 30 minutes to do the rules explanation for this, but that would make it seem like it's a really complicated game. But everyone at the table sat down, they listened to this rules explanation, you know, there was the odd question here or there, as is normal. And then we sat down and we started playing, and everyone just got it. It's one of those games that there is a lot there, it is quite complex, but it has this intuitiveness to the way that the mechanics all work and the rules that means once you get into it, you just get it, and it just all flows, and you can see everything in front of you, what you can do. You know, you've got something tracking what each of the stages of the game are going to be. Your player board tells you what all the different actions you can do are. It's really well put together for that. Now, the way the turns actually work is you'll start by doing a drafting, and drafting is a really good mechanic. It really gets you thinking, and this game I found was really good for that, as all drafting is. And at the same time, I hate drafting because it's so difficult to do. And I found it really difficult in this. Every time you got a set of cards, it was like, but I want this, and I want this, and I want this. Which do I take? It's just fantastic. That kind of pressure, I mean, it's not really pressure, it's fun, but that decision making, that feeling like what you're doing matters, makes it feel fun. And then once you've done this drafting, you then go around doing your actions. And because it's not, I do all my actions, then it's your turn, you do all your actions, it means even with 5 players, which is what we were playing with, and that is the only expansion we were using, was the 5th player. Just to make that clear, there was no other extra stuff in this. That you don't have a lot of downtime. I mean, okay, 5 players is worse for downtime than it would be with fewer players, because obviously you're waiting for each person to go, but each person's only doing one small thing, so it does move around reasonably quickly. And even when it is that person's go, you're interested in what other people are doing in this game. You know, you're sat there going, are you going to build a cut? You know, are you going to build an upgrade? Are you going to invade with a unit somewhere I want to be or go? Are you going to start a battle that I can get involved with? Everything that is happening around the table, what everyone else is doing, is affecting the other players. And that means you're involved and interested even when it's not your go, which makes it feel even shorter on downtime than it actually is. And of course, I would be remiss in talking about Blood Rage and not mentioning components, because let's face it, cool mini or not, tend to live up to their name. And the minis in this are fantastic. Now, the pictures I have and the version we were playing with, some of the minis were painted and they did a good job on that, so that looked really nice. But even the ones that weren't painted, it's still really nice. Even if you're not going to get them painted, you can still look at these miniatures and be like, wow, I like this. And unfortunately, I didn't really get many of the miniatures and not many of the good ones. I really would have, I kind of wanted the monsters, and it was like, I want a monster, should I draft the card that'll give me that monster? And it's like, but that's not the strategy I'm playing, but I want the monster. They are that nice that you want to have them, you want to look at them, you want to be able to go, boom, because they're so much bigger than everything else. They have an impact. I mean, okay, not all the monsters are big, but they're different, they're interesting, they make the game exciting when it's already exciting. Now, obviously, I talked about the miniatures with components. Let's talk about the rest of the components. So, unfortunately, it's hard for me to judge a lot of them because this was a Kickstarter version, so a lot of the tokens had been replaced with plastic ones, and that wouldn't be the case in the box game. The board itself is the same as you would get, and that was good quality. The Ragnarok tokens that mark stuff are nice fit cardboard, it's all very nice there. The player boards, they're a bit flimsy. I mean, obviously they do the job, but it would have been nicer just to have a bit chunkier cardboard there. But again, you know, it's, as always, that means more expense. This was a super exciting, engaging game the whole way through. Yes, it was a bit on the long side. I think it was 3 hours playtime, but that was with 5 people. It would be shorter with fewer, and that time did fly by. It was excitement all the way along when the battles are happening. You're kind of... I was playing the Loki strategy, and I did win playing that. I got butchered constantly, which meant I won because I was getting points for losing, which was great fun for me, less so for the other people. But and every time these combats were going on, it was really exciting and interesting. And there was this one point in the Third Age, because I was just trying to start as many fights, you know, it was all the time. It was pillage, 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 draw people in, go, come on, come kill me. And I did this, and I was in Yggdrasil, and I went, come on, kill me. And everyone came in. And I'd gone, right, I'm going to play this card that means I'll get a load of glory for every single unit that dies in this fight. And that's going to be a ton of them. And then someone else played a card that meant all other cards' text was cancelled. And it was like, no! After this big, huge, epic battle that I'd started, planning to use this card and get all that glory, and then it all fell apart. It was fantastic! I know there is a lot of hype about this game, and I was worried about the hype and that it wouldn't live up to it, especially as I had been anticipating it so much. But you know what? this is a great, great game, and it really does live up to that hype. I mean, I couldn't believe how good this was. Absolutely fantastic. Now, would I recommend you to go buy it? Well, I'm going to go buy it, but I've tried it and I'm getting it as soon as I can, and I encourage you to try it out. And then the final game I played yesterday was Kemet Seti. Now, I am not going to talk about this at all really, other than to say it was interesting and I feel that you should find out more about it. And coincidentally, my game that I'm doing my feature videos on this week will be Kemet Seti. So if you are interested in finding out more about this interesting game, then please do subscribe to the channel and you'll be able to see when the videos for that come available. Alternatively, of course, you can follow me on Twitter and I'll notify you then when they become available. So that is all the games I played yesterday. I hope you have found this video interesting and insightful, and that you will share it with everyone you know, because I want to get as many people watching these as possible. And as always, thanks for watching and bye for now.